Hello everyone, my name is Butch. I want to welcome y'all back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something totally different than I've ever done before. A few days ago, I created this Halloween graveyard display using the Department 56 Halloween Village accessory pieces and a few other accessories that I picked up at several places afterwards. Well, I posted a picture to the Crafty YouTubers United Discord group that I'm a member of. Well, I got a comment about it that I would never have thought about. It said, "Please tell me you videoed this because the world needs to see that. It's brilliant." Well, of course, I hadn't thought about doing a video, so I got several requests to make this video. So this is what I'm going to do today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a corner of the display just to kind of go through the process of how I got there. It would take a long time to try to do the whole thing over again, but just doing a little corner of it will get you an idea of the thought process and how I went along and how I might have said a few unnecessary words to try to get it to where I wanted to be. So I start off with this floral foam. I started off with a piece that was 12 inches by 35 inches. Well, after I laid out all the pieces that I had, kind of got a little layout of how I wanted it to do, figured out I didn't have enough room. So I had to extend it about 6 inches to make it 18 by 35. So that's the dimensions of the graveyard that I did. So what I'll do, like I said, all I do is I've got these pieces. This is the spooky skeleton tree. And this is the animated graveyard piece. So all I do is, like I said, is just lay it out on the table on your phone like you need to, just to kind of see the place. And then I've got this skeleton wall. And I'm going to, like I said, it's just basically, this is just a audition type of thing for where the pieces might go. It's not always set in stone. Sometimes once you set the pieces and you step back a little bit, it's not necessarily the way you want it to be. So, you go on from there. But anyway, so what I've done, like I said, I kind of placed the pieces, and then my tombstones, sometimes it's hard to find the words that you want to say, but the tombstones that I put on here, what I did was I took some pill bottle tops, and I painted them black, and then I painted them into a patina green color, so it kind of blends in with the moss and stuff that I used. So anyway, I'm going to do that later on with this one, and then show you the gravestones. But anyway, so like I said, I set them down. This is where I think I'm going to put everything. So I get my little Sharpie marker, as I write on myself, and I kind of draw out the outlines of the pieces to kind of get a layout of how I want to do it. Sometimes they move, sometimes they don't. But like I said, I just trying to do just a rough sketch on where everything is going to go, so I know where not to put the lights, because I will be putting lights on this, kind of light up the ground and everything. So basically, this is what I did. It kind of tells me where the pieces are going to go. So now what I can do is I can lay the lights out. Now what I've got some, it's 100 string light of purple and blue, or purple and green Halloween lights. So basically, all you're going to do is, you see how the things are outlined, and this is kind of where I want things to be. So all I'm going to do is just kind of place the lights. Of course, I don't have everything I need. Here we go. This is kind of one of the important things that you need: floral pins. So basically, all I'm going to be doing is kind of attaching the lights to the foam so they don't move. Like I said, this is just kind of a rough thing on the process of what I did. And sometimes what you try to do is you want to try to light up as much of it sometimes as you can. So you kind of intermingle the lights in between everything. And then if you have to twist the light where it doesn't get on, or where something goes, you just kind of put them down. And sometimes I'll push the lights into the phone, but sometimes they don't want to go, so you just kind of have to help them out. And we just kind of do this, this, this. And like I said, I'm not going to be, like I said, this is how I do it, the process that I went through. And of course, it's not always right the first time, or you decide to add something while you're doing this, or something doesn't work out right. So you're constantly unpinning and just kind of trying to make everything work. Yeah. So that's basically how I laid out the lights. And of course, I'm going to be moving everything so it's out of frame, but I will try to catch it in the process before it happens. All right, so got the lights down. So next, we're going to lay the ground cover out. So I got some Spanish moss that I got from called Old Time Pottery. It's kind of like a crafty place. It's a home decor. They sell a little bit of everything. So I mean, basically, it's just one of those. People like to go there that hoard. I mean, they've got everything. And so anyway, so what you're going to do is you're just going to lay the moss out. I'm going to move my tree. It's in the way. Like I said, so basically all we're going to do is we're going to kind of lay the moss out, and you don't really have to pin it per se, but sometimes to get around some of the things, you kind of have to pin it but if you just kind of mash it, because you really don't want, you kind of want the moss to be a little bit airy, kind of a little bit, like I said, it looks like overgrown grass, something that's, grass that's died in the graveyard. So you just kind of, like I said, just kind of want to leave it around. And you want to also try to cover up the wires as much as you can. Not necessarily the lights per se, but just kind of try to cover up the wires. But you got to leave a little hole for where your display pieces go. So basically, it's just kind of, like I said, it's just a hit and miss, lay it out, lay it flat. And then, like I said, just put your pieces on as you go along, just to see. Now, sometimes when the pieces are real close together, you might want to try to pin it. But really, if you have to set your piece on the outskirts of the moss or whatever, well, the piece will also sit on the moss and kind of weigh it down, and so it's you really don't have to pin it. It's going to stay, because you're not going to really move this. Because I put it together on the I have an old time sewing machine that I used as the base. So like I said, I just kind of, well, it's like I said, just basically putting the moss on, covering up the wires, trying to cover up the foam. This moss is kind of like glitter. It goes everywhere. It's just basically, it's try the tombstone right there, tombstone right there. So we're just gonna doing this. And of course, there's nothing going to go down here because right now I'm not going to just so you can see kind of how it went together. So anyway, there you go. It's kind of the moss situation. So all we're going to do is we're going to put these pieces back on where they kind of lay. And like I said, sometimes when you put them on, if the moss seems like it's a little bit high, you can kind of thin it out a little bit. Just to kind of, that way. And then of course, set this right here. And so you can also, once you move it, if you need to move some moss around, it's just kind of like I said, it's just a matter of moving your grass. And there's the wall. Okay. And headstone. Push this forward a bit. Get my paint thing out. Sometimes I don't have enough room. You never can figure out how much room to put into your video thing. So anyway, my cap and my black heavy gesso. I love the Fenivar product. Black heavy gesso. It's amazing. It covers really well. Most of the time, it's just one coat. It's just amazing stuff. So anyway, I'll use it. And a lot of times in my resin art, resin work, I don't use the mica powders or anything. Sometimes I try to use them because I'm trying to learn how to use them. But most of the time, I like to just pour the mold in black or white, depending on how the dark mood, light mood, what I want to do. And then I will take that resin piece, and I'll just paint it with the heavy gesso, be it heavy black or heavy white. And as you know, paint will not stick to resin. It always peels off, but if you do paint it with a heavy gesso, it acts as a primer. So then once it's down, you can use acrylic paints or whatever you choose to paint your resin piece with. So, and a lot of times, sometimes the molds are so jumbled up and trying to figure out which the detail is and whatever. So basically, like I said, I just kind of pour the mold. That way I can see where everything is. And then I'll go back and paint it afterwards. And that way I don't paint something that I shouldn't or different colors. So, like I said, so you just kind of paint the piece like that. And dry it. A little bit noisy, so of course the gesso dries very matte, so it's not shiny, which is kind of a good thing to start off with, because your acrylic paints and stuff will make it shiny. So like I said, just kind of use your heat gun to kind of dry it a little bit. So got that done. Now what I'm going to do is I have some patina green wax. It's a matte wax. It's from Fenivar also. It's kind of like the rub and buff stuff that you can get at Hobby Lobby and places like that. But this is it doesn't smell. It's really fresh smelling, to be honest with you. It's not, doesn't have a bad odor or anything. So basically, you're just going to take take the cap here, dip it in the wax or whatever, and then I'm just going to paint over my cap. Hope everyone's doing all right today. I want to apologize for not doing videos like I want to, but sometimes work is very hard, and just sometimes life in general. But I'm doing my best. I'm gonna try to put out at least one a week now. I'm gonna try to set up a schedule. Because I really enjoy doing this. This is kind of like therapy to me. It's it's also cheaper. Well, it can be cheaper than therapy, but depends on how much money you spend on your products and stuff like that. So therapy, but anything's really definitely cheaper than therapy. But like I said, so it's kind of fun. Like I said, just paint, paint the wax. It's a wax, and you can just paint over it, leave some of the black showing. That way, it kind of looks aged, and you don't have to work at it. And I really enjoyed pouring, getting new molds and trying new molds. I've got a huge vampire skull that I just poured a while back, and I poured it in white. Well, it has no teeth definition. It's got where you can hit the jaw, but there's no teeth really definition other than just looking at it front. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to cut out the resin around the teeth and give it a definite smile. And so that's going to be kind of a video by itself. And then I'm going to put out the video that I paint the skull with and put it out, and I'm going to make a mixed media project out of it. So anyway, dry this a little bit. All right, so there we go with that. So that's that. And add a little bit more grass to it. Moss, excuse me. Grass moss. I don't like yard work, so it's all grass to me. So there we go. And you also, like I said, when putting the pieces down like this, you learn where that way when you put the wires down and everything, that you don't cover it, the pieces will set even on the phone or on the board, whichever that you're deciding to do. And these caps have holes in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a floral pen, and I'm just going to, that way they won't move, and we're going to stick them to the board like this. So now that I've got that, we're going to put a little bit more moss, but we're going to put the moss right on top of these caps. We're just kind of hide them a little bit. We're going to give them just a little bit of a, so they look like there's grass growing, everything's growing up over everything. It's looking really, really sticky. Okay. And do that. All right, so everything's there, kind of flat. Got to put it back in front again. Like I said, I'm still learning about all these good things that I need to watch for and everything. So I think this is my third or fourth video. So I'm still kind of learning. I've watched people, and so I learn a lot by watching, but I learn more by doing. So this is kind of a learning process. So anyway, so like I said, I got that done, and then here's my tombstones. These are accessory pieces from Department 56. There's a set of 6 of them. Anyway, so what I've done is I need to get some tacky wax. Of course, you can never find it when you need it. I'll be right back. Equiwax. It's just like a temporary adhesive or temporary glue or whatever you want to call it, but it attaches things without really gluing them down because you can move it around. It'll. But all I did, like I said, what I've done is these kind of come just kind of greenish. They have a little bit of a you know grungy tint to them. Well, what I did was I took another a metallic wax called White Pearl. It's also by Cinnabar. And what I did was I took the wax, and most of the time I just put it in my hand. Usually after I get through crafting, my hands are kind of grungy and dirty and nasty. Not really nasty, but just kind of grungy. But anyway, so you just put a little bit on a brush. And then all you do is just kind of, it's a dry brush effect, and you just kind of dry brush the highlights of the piece. That way you can see the pieces a little bit better in the dark. And then just gonna give it a, that way it just, it's still kind of old, but it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. So like I said, so do that. Get a paper towel, so I clean off my hands. So anyway, back to the tacky wax. Anyway, so like I said, it's a kind of like it's a wax. It's really tacky. I guess that's why they call it tacky wax. But anyway, just put a little bit on the bottom of them. And then we're gonna move the grass around. And I'm just gonna stick it to the piece. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of, I can't really tilt it too much. Like I said, the only thing that's really attached are the caps and everything else, and the lights. The moss is kind of sitting there, and the pieces are just sitting there. So if I tilt it up, just try to show you what what each of them looks like, well, they're gonna all fall. But anyway, so that's kind of how I got to the process of getting to this point. So what I also did, I had some small gravel. So what I did is I kind of went around the tombstones, gravestones, kind of put put a rock base around, rock foundation, and sometimes what I try to do is get some rocks on the top of the cap, like it's like like I said, this is how old, I guess old times, back in the ancient times or whatever. All they had was rocks and stuff, so they just kind of piled them around the tombstone and kind of made it work. So you get the drift of that. And then, like I said, I had some pumpkins, some little bitty pumpkins. So I just kind of zoom back out here a bit. Well, I just kind of put a couple of the pumpkins kind of in strategic places like that. And then, of course, I had a bale of hay. So I just kind of did the pumpkin on the bale of hay like that, kind of, sort of. All right, so that was kind of the process that I did to get to the big project. It took me about 4.5 hours total to do the whole big thing again, like I said, between saying some choice words and walking away from it a couple of times and coming back and new perspective on things. It finally came together and I could be no more pleased with it. And like I said, I would never thought that the reception that I would have got because of it. So anyway, this is the process of what I did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this off right now, and I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to put this stuff back because like I said, it's not on the phone. So technically all I did was I moved it. I took it from there, brought it down here so I could create this. Well, I'm going to just take it back upstairs, put it all back to where it was. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little short addition to this video in the light where you can see everything and kind of explain the pieces, explain, kind of what's going on. And then at the end, I'm going to do another addition to this video, a short version of the lights out, or the, being dark in the room. And of course, the only thing that's lit is the foam and the lights and the pieces. So that's it for right now. So like I said, I'll come back shortly and we'll do the tour of the display piece. And then I'll show you the nighttime version, and we'll close it out from there. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'll be right back. Thank you again. All right, welcome back. We're going to start the tour of our little graveyard. So all we have here, we have the Angel of Death with the lighted animated jack-o'-lantern gates. Over to the left, we got the Matrimony couple and the spooky bridge. And we have some more gravestone, tombstones, and we got the skull street lamps, the rotating skull tree, another skull wall, and of course I added the big pumpkin in the center of the graveyard, kind of like I like the Halloween Town series of movies with Debbie Reynolds, and they had a big old pumpkin in the middle of the town square, so I thought I'll add one to mine just for effects. All right, welcome back. So got another skull street lamp. We got the spooky skull tree, the animated graveyard with all the coffins, some more tombstones, another skull fence piece. Of course, we got pumpkins all over the place. So it's just kind of a nice moss that's grown up. Kind of looks spooky even at the night when you turn it on. It is quite spooky. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tour of this little set. And we'll be back shortly. Hello everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that tour of the spooky graveyard. Well, I thought I might surprise everybody and let you see what the Southern gentleman really looks like. Sometimes he may be here, sometimes he may not. I don't know, it just depends on what kind of mood he's in. So he may appear again sometime, but we never know. But anyway, I want to end the video with a few shout outs. First of all, Dragons and Dresses, Craft Sortium, Coral Marines Resin Art, Beaten Crazy Custom Creations, Wanda's Blessed Creations, Gert Creates, June's Sunshine Crafts, Mini Scenes GB, DNA Resin, Martha Townsend, Billy Holman Creations, at Artsy Doodles 1, Marvelous Artsy, Two Fat Birds Creative, Wendy's Decorium, and Bright Star Creative. Again, if you like this video, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. It would help me out a whole lot. I appreciate it. And I hope to see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good day now. Bye-bye.